if you like. Okay. What's up? All right, guys. Headphones, cell phones away so you're not distracted. Here we go. Bring me your flash drive so I can copy some stuff on there. We are going to learn today about how to remove blemishes, pimples, and scars. Except I'm going to transfer one thing over real quick. There they are. So I'm not actually going to, is this it right here, local drive E?
Yeah.
Okay. So inside here, you can just copy and paste them. Just make a new file, 8.5 by 11. Just copy and paste the names on there. It should be first name, then last name. That's all you got to do until we get the pictures for you to cut out.
So just make one for each of them.
Yep. All right. So again, like I was saying, we're going to learn how to remove blemishes, pimples, and scars. We're going to go ahead, guys, and start with this one right here. First thing, again, always duplicate your layer just in case you mess up. You always have an original to work with. All right. We've already kind of gone over one with that clone stamp, which we used. And you know what? You can use the clone stamp for some. I'll show you how to do it. But it's nice to have a couple of these tools in your pocket. All right, to use. The tools we are going to be using, if you take a look up here, is it's going to be right underneath that little eyedropper. If you right-click on it, you're going to see a Band-Aid with a lasso. You're going to see, which is called the spot healing brush. Then you got the healing brush tool and the patch tool. These are going to be the three tools that we're going to pretty much concentrate on today. And the first one we're going to go ahead and do is use the spot healing brush tool. And it's very simply going to, let me zoom in. And I'm going to adjust it. It works just like a brush, hardness and all. I'm going to bring the hardness down. All right. And what it is you're just going to simply kind of paint over a blemish that you don't want to be there. So I'm going to pinpoint one. Let's talk about this one right here. Actually, this one right here is good. And you just click it, and it'll slowly go away. Now, what's happening, you want to make sure you're on the right layer, Brianna. See how you have an active one? What's going on with this tool is I need to see on a different screen. It's taking the pixels surrounding the brush and it's filling them in. It's kind of doing a formula in which it's going to fill it all in. Now, yes, you can technically click and drag and make a big selection. But when you start making a big selection, you're pulling from different types, exactly like that. You're pulling from a different types of shadows and pixels, and you're going to make it start looking like it's not really realistic. All right? The best way to see if it's working effectively is to actually step back from your work. So what I like to do, since I'm already working up there, all right, so here if I go ahead, and you'll see if I start to do this with a big brush around her hair, watch what happens. If I start to go like this around her hair, do you see how it's pulling pixels from her hair and replacing them? So it's taking the sample pixels around the brush, and it's going to go ahead and replace the ones underneath it. So that's why it's kind of important that you lower your brush size. So right here, there's one. Yes, I know you can completely erase the mouth as well with this. It's going to actually replace the pixels around it with sample ones. Now, one thing that you'll notice that we can kind of bring in from the last lesson is usually when people have a lot of blemishes or have some acne or something like that, the face tends to be a little redder than normal. Go ahead and kind of take away that red feature. We're going to go ahead and do a hue saturation layer. So at the bottom, let's go ahead and create a layer for hue saturation. Let's go and click the little half moon. And let's go up to hue and saturation. Now, remember, we want to take away the redness of her face. So where it says underneath preset master, we're going to go to the reds. Now, what that's going to do is that's only going to affect the red color of her. And we're simply going to take the saturation and bring it down. So obviously really red, or we can bring it down a little bit. I only brought it down a little bit. And then, of course, if we want her hair to stay the same color, because obviously she's got red hair, we can always, on our mask, paint that back with the black marker or the black brush. All right, we can put that makeup, take that makeup off. We can do that. Same thing with her eyes if we took any part of her eyes away. Or her lips. Hey, Brianna, make sure you're painting with a black one. Your brush color. All right, let's go to this second one right here. And let's talk about the one underneath that spot healing brush tool where it's called the brush healing tool. All right, just like the clone stamp in this situation, you can actually choose a reference point to sample from. So like, let's say her forehead or her cheek, you know, is really kind of has a lot of blemishes or pimples. So instead of sampling pixels from around this area, maybe we want to sample them from this area on this side. So what we can do is we can hold down Alt just like the clone stamp and click the right side of her cheek. And now we can go ahead and kind of paint just like we did. And now notice it kind of matches because it's similar types of tones. I'll do it again. It's the one right underneath it. Instead of it being spot healing, it's called healing brush tool. And the only difference, guys, in this, sorry, I forgot to duplicate my background. The only difference in this, guys, is you get to choose your reference point to sample the pixels for altering. So again, this cheek, all right, over here, it's kind of, you know, it's got a lot of blemishes. So I want to sample from this side. I hold down Alt. I click once to make my reference point. And now I come over here and I can go ahead and kind of paint right over it. All right, so the forehead up here. Maybe I want to sample from over in this area to get this zit gone. Hold down Alt. Make my brush a little bit bigger. It's hard to tell on my computer screen. I have to keep constantly looking up at the monitor. It's a completely different color. So, I mean, now these are more of like extreme cases that are going to have a lot of blemishes or a lot of pimples. In our pictures, we might not have as many of these. One thing I want to go ahead and show you now, kind of switch, is let's go to the one with the scars. And you're going to really like this tool, and you'll see why. Let's go to this one right here, this guy. First off, you kind of see that this guy's got a nose ring. And let's say we want to get rid of that nose ring. We don't need to use the healing. We can just use spot healing because we want to sample the pixels from around his nose. Oh, I got to turn my hardness up a little bit. There you go. No more nose ring, buddy. I did it again. Duplicate your layer. I'm so bad at that. All right. So very simply, we have this scar right here we want to get away, right? We could take the spot healing, and we could do this, which is fine. Worked just great. Look at that. It's already gone. However, though, you're going to have ones where there's a lot more, and we've got a tool for that. If you right-click and you go down to that third one, which is the patch tool. This patch tool is going to allow you to replace pixels from any place you want. All right? So with this patch tool, it looks literally like a patch sewn in. You're going to make a selection around what you want to replace. Oops. And when you do that, you're going to get the dancing ants around it. And now it's as simple as clicking and moving to what part of the body you want it to sample pixels from and replace them. So since it's right on the cheek, I want to keep the same types of shadows and the same types of highlights and shadows. I'm just going to go right underneath it and let go. And now it's like he never even had, oh my God, I undid it again. It's like he never even had a scar to begin with. So this is one where you can replace a whole bunch of it.
Oh, that's cool. Like that.
So now up by this guy's eye scar, we can do the same thing. I'm going to draw a quick little selection around his eye. Replace it with something right next to it. And then how do you think we can replace his eyebrow with the scar here? You can try it. Let's see what it looks like if we do that. It's kind of faded, though. What's another tool we could use? Clone stamp all day. Make your reference point. Now again, I'm going real quick here. You just got really bushy eyebrows now. Remember, guys, zooming in, adjusting your brush size are really going to help you make it a little bit more realistic so you can pinpoint the exact spot. Yeah, for each. So you got boys cross country, scroll down. You got, oh, so football will have 3 pages. Varsity.
So like it's just one page for each sport.
Yes. No. You're getting a varsity football page, and you're getting just one picture cut out. You're going to kind of like wrap. You know what I mean?
All the names
In Photoshop. Yeah, so copy and paste them.
Yeah.
All right? Because if you take a picture and put it on there or whatever, what happens is it becomes a rasterized image. You have to make a reference point first. You have to hold down Alt and see where you want to copy from. Click once. Click once on it. There you go. Now you're going to come here, hold down Alt, click, like up. And now you can see it's going to come out. When you start drawing, watch over here. So click and just drag like that and watch over here. See how that is? That little crosshair goes there? That's because it's referencing that part. A lot of people did some pretty good jobs on that. Let's go ahead and go to this second one right here. Now, this one's a little tricky. And the fact that you have highlights up here, see how it's really bright above the scar and really dark below the scar? So it's kind of hard to figure out which tool to use. You might have to use a multiple. I'm going to start off with the patch tool. Draw right around it. I'm going to go below, see what happens if we go below it. Actually didn't turn out bad. It looks like I've got one little spot right around here that I would need to fix. Yeah, roughly pretty good. And this patch tool pretty cool though. Yeah, you don't think it is in the summer. So again, now if you've got those type of like imperfections, you can always go back and use the spot healing or the healing brush tool and just tone it up a little bit with whatever types of pixels you wanted. It's actually really good right there. Just that right there. That's pretty good too, Alan. Remember, it's always, once you do it, it's always good to step back from it or zoom out, see what it looks like. All right, so again, when you're working through yours, that's what I'm looking for. Teeth, eyes, blemishes, pimples. Now you can make imperfections in glass. You know when people wear glasses and people take pictures and the person's reflecting out of your glass or whatever? You can fix those. All right, so those guys are the spot healing, and the patch tool.